Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ben, and in this episode of the Smoking Hot Confessions Barbecue podcast, we're talking to fellow BJJ practitioner and founder of Aussie manufacturing business, Ugly Drum Smokers Australia. That's right, we're talking to Adam Yorke.
This is the internationally awarded Smoking Hot Confessions Barbecue podcast with your host, Ben Arnott. How long's it been since your last confession?
Adam, it's great to see you, mate. How you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, Ben. Really appreciate it.
Mate, look, I really appreciate it. I understand that this weekend is particularly significant for you, and so I appreciate you taking some time out to hang out and talk barbecue with me.
No, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, I mentioned right at the top of the intro there that you are a fellow BJJ practitioner. So we'll just spend a couple of minutes and we'll just have a little BJJ chat before we get into the BBQ chat.
Yeah, why not? That's awesome, man. Yeah. And congratulations on your purple belt again. That's a massive achievement. So hats off to you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a lot harder to do this at 42 than it was when I was 22. But
yeah, I find now because I'm 44 that I no longer bounce. I just break.
Yeah. There's no bouncing. There's just a little bit of bending and then snapping.
That's exactly right. You got to tap early.
Exactly. Yeah. The power of the tap can't be underestimated.
That's right.
So tell me, man, what was the last thing that you barbecued?
The last thing was I just did it the other day. I've gone all blank. Just did a video of it. I think it was 4. Can't remember. I've gone all blank. Sorry. I just did a video. I was using I was using the natural wood pecan, the Charcoal King's charcoal. But for the life of me, I've forgotten what I was doing. I don't know. I forgot. Sorry. That's really bad. I only posted it the other day too, but I guess I'm on the spot now and I've just drawn a blank. It'll probably come back to me in about 10 minutes and then I'll go, that's what it was.
Well, look, that's all right. That's okay. Now, I mentioned that this weekend is important to you as a practicing Christian. So I do take great appreciation for you spending some time here with me. Can you tell us some, or give us some ideas of some Easter recipes that you'd normally get up to on your drum smokers?
I just remembered it was lamb shanks. So that was the last thing.
There you go.
That's right, lamb shanks. So I cooked lamb shanks up the other night. But yeah, look for Easter. A lot of people say, "Oh, you have to have fish on Friday." I don't. That's not true. I've never seen that. I don't think that's really scriptural. So I had Scotch fillet for dinner on Friday, and I'll probably try and do some lamb racks on Sunday. But I'm not too fussed with the fish on Friday, although I do like fish. So I'm lucky I live near the coast, so I can go fishing and catch fish quite often. So I'm quite lucky in that regard. But Easter recipe, whatever you like, whatever you want to smoke or barbecue, as long as I guess you're with friends and family and in sharing the food. I think that's what it's all about. Food brings people together. So yeah, the more the merrier.
Exactly. Yeah, uniting the people by breaking the bread and all that.
Absolutely. And getting the barbecue out.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not a long weekend in Australia unless there's a barbecue involved.
100%.
So what is your favorite food to barbecue then? Is it fish? We're talking about going fishing and catching the stuff live?
Yeah, fish is good. I like fish. I've done a bit of it. I've done some salmon on the UDS, which turned out really well. And that was a recipe I saw from another guy on Instagram. But I guess I'll probably do mostly pork and beef, I guess. Bit of lamb. My daughters love lamb, so I try and do a bit of lamb. But I guess pork and beef, because normally when I crack the drum out, I've got people coming over and everyone loves pulled pork or pulled beef or everyone's like, oh, brisket. So, it's usually a big slab of protein just for everybody. So, yeah.
Something really nice and large, so it's impressive when you open the lid and lift it out and it's, hanging down like that.
ooh ahs, and they see the bone come out, clean, like, ooh, that's awesome. And I'm like, yeah, it's okay. I'm not that good, but I can take it.
Yeah, yeah. Good stuff, man. So obviously your favorite barbecue would be a ugly drum smoker. Now, do you have a
Yeah,
particular grill that you use, or do you have like a multi-level grill on your UDS and you just drop that down lower onto the coals?
there are several levels in there. At the moment, I'm just using a Weber style round grill, but I've got my own grills that have been laser cut, and same as the deflectors. So I have a deflector above the charcoal basket, and then there's a couple of levels inside that you can put one or two baskets inside, grills inside. Yeah. So I
Oh,
normally just
okay.
cook on the top level. Yeah.
Rightio. So like even if you're
Mm.
doing a steak or something, you just throw a steak on the top level and it's hot enough from underneath?
You could do a reverse sear with it. Certainly bring it up to a temperature, then have something flat. So I'd probably, if I wanted to do it over the charcoal, I'd get the charcoal basket out, and you could do it over that. Or if I've got the gasser going, you can have a really hot plate and finish it on that. So yeah, you can crank it right up, but I tend to just use it for low and slow.
Yeah, fair enough. So tell me, how did you get into barbecue? Was it something that your family was always into, or did you discover it sort of later in life?
I was looking over some of your past podcasts and thinking about that question, and it came probably from two parts. Probably from my one from my dad's side, from my nonna. My dad's Italian, from my nonna, and the other from my pop on my mum's side. I remember as a kid, my pop had an old brick barbecue back in the days of the incinerators in the backyard, and nearly every weekend we'd spend with my nan and pop, and my pop would always be cooking the barbecue, but it was a wood barbecue, so you have to feed it the wood, and the smell of burning wood, even today, and meat, it just takes me back to being a kid. And with my nonna, I'd go see my nonna, and she'd make polenta. She had another Besser brick sort of barbecue that she'd feed wood, and she'd be out there hours just cooking this polenta, and I used to just be fascinating watching it, standing there watching her, as a little kid make the polenta, and just, couldn't wait for it to be made. So I guess it kind of started there, cooking over fire as a little kid, because it just, the smells and hearing the fire and tending to it just brings back so many memories as a kid.
Yeah, it's actually funny that you mentioned those old brick incinerators. I remember having one of them in the early '80s, and we'd actually
Yeah,
burn off all our household rubbish, and then once all that
that's
was
it.
burnt and gone, then Dad would make us run around the yard and pick up all the sticks and things that had fallen out of the trees and run around, shove them in, and then he'd cook the food on top of where he'd just burnt off all the household garbage.
That's right. Yeah, that's exactly right.
I hadn't seen one for years and years and years, and then we got to know the lady that lived over the fence here, and she said, "Oh, you're into barbecue? You should see what's in my backyard." And there was one of those old incinerators still sitting in the backyard, the old brick incinerator style barbecue. And unfortunately,
Oh, that's
the owner
wonderful.
sold the house, and the incinerator got removed for a pool.
Oh, that's no good.
Yeah,
Should have jumped over and said, "I'll take that."
yeah, yeah. So, what is it that motivates you in barbecue? Are you a competitor? Are you looking to win trophies? Are you? I mean, you're obviously a manufacturer, and we're going to talk about that a bit later on. But what motivates you in the world of barbecue?
I've never been in a comp. One, I don't have any sponsors. I couldn't afford it, and with with kids at home and stuff like that, full time work, I don't know if I'd have the time. Um, I guess I just like helping people and just want to share UDS with people. I get lots of questions about building them and the food and stuff like that. So I guess the motivates me is one, I enjoy it, and I enjoy talking about it and sharing it with other people and helping people as much as I can. So I guess that's the motivation.
Yeah, that's certainly a great motivation. Barbecue can do a lot of things to help a lot of people. Do you
Hmm.
um do you get into much catering stuff?
No, I've got a mate that has a food truck. An Indonesian food truck, and I see him slogging it out. Like, and they produce some fantastic food here on the south coast of New South Wales. But the thought of you know doing that, it's such hard work, and I don't know. like I'm not confident in myself to be able to do that. I'd happily help somebody and work for somebody that would do it, but I don't know. It'd probably be too much for me.
It is awfully long hours, isn't it? I've actually
Huge commitment.
Yeah, I've pulled a couple of shifts helping out some friends from time to time, and that's a long day.
Yeah, it's huge, and with the family and stuff, it just wouldn't be sustainable. Like it'd be awesome to do it, something that I could turn up to and work on and go home, and somebody else has all the stress involved with it. That'd be fine, but yeah, I'm happy just to kick back and make smokers and help people do it themselves.
Yeah, that's great stuff, man. So you obviously really love the world of barbecue, and you just said that you're on the south coast of New South Wales. For some reason, I had it in my head that you were virtually neighbours with Dean Monk up in Cairns. So I don't know why I had that in my head. But tell us about the scene.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was just saying, tell us about the scene in on the south coast of New South Wales.
Yeah, look, I've only been here for 2 years. I moved from the Southern Highlands after where I was working closed, so I had to move to another location. But it's great. I've been coming down here since I was a kid with my mum and brother and sister. We had a caravan actually just down the road at Dolphin Point, and yeah, so coming down here it was really nice. We left an acre and nothing but bush in the backyard to having just the ocean now just down the road. Like, you know, we could walk to the beach from here, so it's really, really nice. Different nice to being in the bush, but yeah, there's nobody down here as such. There is I think it's Two Smoking Barrels. They're a food truck and restaurant, but they're probably about an hour and a half, nearly a Wollongong away from me. But that's one really good barbecue restaurant and food truck. So yeah, if you ever see them, definitely stop in and grab some food off them. Really great blokes and great food. So, but yeah, that's about it really that I know of.
Oh, okay, because there's are you near sort of Kangaroo Valley, or is that too far north of you?
Yeah, so Kangaroo Valley is like, yeah, it's probably about an hour and 20 from me. So I do know that they have the festival at Kangaroo Valley. So I was going to go up there when it's on. But everything that's been going on, it's been really difficult to get around. So next time I'm going to pop up there. I won't be competing or anything. I'll just be a punter like, you know, everybody else, and just walk around, say g'day and eat everyone's food and then go home happy.
Well, I'm sure if you wanted to join in a team, someone would adopt you.
Yeah, I'd love to help out. I happily, you know, even could just cut parsley or whatever.
Wash dishes and whatnot.
Yeah,
Mate,
I'll do anything.
I tell you what, I know two guys that jumped on a plane in Brisbane and flew down to Sydney and then rented a car and drove to Kangaroo Valley just to wash dishes. So
legends.
That's how much people want to get into Kangaroo Valley.
Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful absolutely stunning down there. So beautiful part of the world.
Yeah. Now we've got quite a few fisher people in our audience and that, and we're just getting a few sort of comments coming through. They're curious to know what your fishing rigs are like and what sort of fish you're pulling out of your backyard ocean there.
Well, it depends where I fish. Two spots I go to, it's part of the same beach, and one end, like the southern end, I'll catch Taylor or Aussie salmon, and always welcome, yeah. Taylor or Aussie salmon, and at the other end, it's like ludric or bream or trevally. But yeah, a lot of people knock the Aussie salmon, but I actually quite like it, and I usually make like a Thai style fish cake with them. They make nice beer battered fish cocktails, but I have a good recipe for Thai fish cakes that are really, really good. So probably one of the best fish I you know, try and catch to use for that. If it's bream or something like that, I'll cook it whole or something like that. But the Aussie salmon, it's pretty good, and it puts up a pretty good fight too. So.
And you just catch that off the beach in your backyard?
Yeah, I go off the rocks. So there's rocks at either end of the head of each beach, and so I just cast off the rocks, not towards the horizon, but usually off to the side into the whitewash, and then I have like a paternoster rig set up, and I've got a mate, a South African mate that's a mad fisherman, and like he's on fishing boats and stuff like that. And he was absolutely mortified when I said I use chicken as bait, and he's like, "No, you can't have that." But the chicken kills it, just absolutely kills it.
Got a project you'd like to work on with the SHC team? Shoot Ben an email on ben@smokinghotconfessions.com and let's have a conversation.
Adam, we got you back.
Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know what's going on. The gremlins are into the internet at the moment, I think.
Oh, it happens, mate. Don't even worry about it at all. So I was just asking you about the Aussie salmon and why people knock the Aussie salmon.
I think some people don't like the taste, or that it might be too oily, but it's a fish that I want to try smoking as well, because it has that oily content, so it might be good to smoke as well. So yeah, that's what I'm going to try and do. I haven't done it yet, but it's something I'd like to do.
I've been talking to some people lately about various native herbs and spices, like maybe perhaps lemon myrtle or something to cut through some of that oiliness might be nice on there.
That's right. Yeah, my neighbour actually has lemon myrtle tree, so she's given us some, and that's absolutely, yeah, delicious. I'd like to give that a crack.
Oh, very handy. Very nice indeed. Okay, so let's move on. Let's have a chat about Ugly Drum Smokers Australia, about your business. Right. Tell us how all that kicked off.
Yeah, so a group of my mates got together, and we'd always get together, but one of them, my mate Judd, he had a mate named Calvin that used to go to Texas often and came back talking about these ugly drums that he saw over there. And so we were interested in it, and so we thought, we'd build some ourselves and go and check out what Calvin was doing. And at the time, I'd taken a voluntary redundancy from work and decided to put myself through TAFE and learn how to do butchery. And I actually started volunteering at a butcher shop at Picton in New South Wales. They couldn't afford to put me on as an apprentice because I was mature age, and but I said, well, look, don't pay me. I'll just pay me by teaching me and while I volunteer. So I used to go in several days a week and did the butchery at Wollongong TAFE. But I only did the first year because the fees became astronomically high for some reason, ended up being about $8,000 a year, and we're only going to attend TAFE 8 times a year. So Rob Vargis, the head butcher, said, look, don't worry about it. And I just kept working at the butcher shop. I was there for about 18 months. And Calvin said, oh, can I have a brisket? And I was like, yeah, sweet. I know, I can cut these off. So I cut this whole brisket off for him, like a whole brisket. And at the time, nobody was really cooking brisket as such. And I took him this big brisket and he cooked it up, and it was really good. We're like, oh, we've got to get onto this. So we just started, I started making them, and my mate Judd made one, and then my other mates were like, oh, that's great. So I started making friends, ugly drum, like the drum smokers. And then another guy I know, I work with his dad, his name's Luke. He's the one that actually started the Facebook page, and he was making one too. So we were talking about it, and he started the Ugly Drum Smoker page. And so, we were talking about that, and we were talking about making salamis and small goods and stuff. So I did a small goods course as well at TAFE, and eventually he got involved with SSAA, and so he didn't have the time to put into the Facebook page, and I was doing a lot of the meets and greets and content and stuff, and I just said to him, look, do you mind if I take over, and he goes, sweet. He had heaps on his plate, with the SSAA and running it's SSAA Silverdale, which is an awesome page, and he actually works out there at the range, and and that's how I got involved with the Facebook page and with the Ugly Drums. Then a lot of people on the page were talking about, oh, let's buy all these parts from the States, from UDSparts.com and stuff like that. And as things usually go, nothing ever happened and nothing eventuated. But I met a guy on there who's been a bit of a mentor for me, Stephen Powell from UDS Texas, Ugly Drum Smokers Texas. And so I've been talking with him for a long time now, many years now, and he's been a huge help for me, just with ideas and encouragement and things like that. And help promoting as well over in the States. And so, we just back and forth our ideas, and I share drawings with him, and he shows me what he's doing. And he's been like a real mentor. He's an absolute champion of a bloke. And so, that's kind of where it kicked off. I just saw guys wanting parts, and I spoke with Justin Martin and Frank Cox because Stephen got me in contact with them, and I just couldn't afford to bring parts out out to Australia, and I didn't want to copy their parts, which are the smoker builder manufacturer. They got the round intakes and exhaust, which like gateway drums do, which is why I went with the square, because I don't want to copy what other people have done. I want to stand out and be unique, and I just thought, it wouldn't be a polite thing to do to rip off, these big guys over in the States. So I thought I'll go with the square, and I'll stand out and kind of do my own thing. So that's how it started.
Yeah, it wouldn't be polite to rip them off, but it would be brave, because I'd imagine that they'd have some pretty good lawyers over there.
Yeah, I dare say they would, and being known worldwide, they probably would have a fair bit of pull too in that regard against the little Aussie, on his own. So I thought I'll do my own designs.
Yeah, right. I just got a couple of quick questions. What is SSAA?
Sporting Shooters Association of Australia. So anybody that, so anyone with long arms, like an AB license, is pretty much a member of the SSAA in Australia. So yeah, this out at Silverdale, there's a rifle range, and Luke is one of the managers out there, or I'm not sure, but he works out there, and his Facebook page for Silverdale is awesome. There's a lot of great guys on there.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I was thinking it might have been another smoker manufacturer or something, so he wasn't allowed to be promoting drum smokers anymore or something like that.
No, it's all about shooting. So that's another little hobby of mine, is shooting as well. So.
Oh, really? Are you a competitive shooter?
Not at the moment, but I shoot with the IPSC, so it's 9mm handguns, and they're the ones that shoot through doors and round things and different targets. And I'm also involved with it's single action shooting, which is like the cowboy shooting. So it's all pre-1900s firearms. So lever action 357 and revolver, single action revolver. So like the old cowboy, got a and lever action and double barrel shotgun, pre-1800s style. And the other thing is, it's huge in America, and it's getting popular here in Australia. There's a couple of clubs nearby that are actually involved with it, but a big component of it is also dressing up. You got to dress in 1800s clothes. So
no.
Yeah, it's absolutely. If you just get on YouTube and type in cowboy action, and the ladies are out there with the corsets and the big dresses, and they're like, the ladies are just as competitive as the bloke. Like the women are phenomenal. Like the speed with which they shoot and the accuracy is unbelievable. So it's a massive thing, and it's a big family thing too. So you get the kids out there, and the guys are in cowboys or Civil War stuff, anything from the 1800s they're in. So, and you have to have an alias, and it's a really, really great community. So.
Okay, you have got to get over to the Houston barbecue competition. As part of the rodeo, they bring out a cowboy show, and the cowboys they look like real handguns, but they just shoot little pellets, and they put up a bunch of balloons around obstacles, and they have to ride the horses around the balloon obstacles and shoot them. Have you seen that before?
I watched Yellowstone, so yeah, I saw it on Yellowstone. Okay. Yeah, so I haven't seen it in real life, just on TV, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, it's like a competition to see who can ride the horse the fastest around the obstacles and shoot the most balloons.
Well, yeah, I'd love to get over to Houston and get go to Texas, because that's where Stephen Powell from UDS Texas. So I'd love to get over there one day. I'm doing my best to try and jump in the bag of Chris from the Smoker Baker, because Chris and Aaron are going over there, and I've just said, look, if you want me to carry your bags, you want me to be security, you want me to open doors, I don't care. Just get me in the bag and get me over there.
Well, you are a BJJ practitioner, so you would make a good security guard.
I'd do my best.
Yeah. Now, is there I didn't realize that there was such a big connection between Texas and Ugly Drum Smokers. Is that because of all the oil business over there? Are they like old oil barrels? Is that where it all started?
I'm not sure how it all started. I think it was just a cheap way of cooking food, which is why it was Ugly Drum. It's become they're no longer Ugly Drums now. Like some of them are works of art. Like you see some of the guys around Australia and some of the stuff in the States, like the ones that Stephen does, he's got Wi-Fi speakers on there and running water and all sorts of things and lights and
Wow.
they're really good. Like he produces some really good drums. Same as Jonathan from Ugly Drum Smokers, Florida. He's got some beautiful drums that he makes. They're not ugly by any means, but I think originally they were just any sort of drum that you could stick a fire in and just just a poor man's smoker, and that's where the name Ugly Drum came from, I think. And it's just stuck, but they're no longer ugly. They should be beady, like beautiful drum smokers or something, because some of them are just stunning.
Oh, we need like an M at the end. Beautiful drum smoker mates.
Machine.
Yeah, there you go.
No, we better not.
Well, I've actually got a little picture of one of yours here. It's your blue one with the orange trim. Tell us a bit about this one.
Well, this was the latest one to go down. This one went to Dwayne. He's in there, and he has the Still Smoking Barbecue Supplies down in Canberra. And a lot of the drums, I try and put them on the truck for freight. But if someone's close enough, and Dwayne was like, I think 3 hours away, so I said, look, I'll just deliver it to you. I delivered my first drum actually to Russ from Natural Smoke to South Australia. So my son and I actually drove to South Australia to deliver the first drum, which was awesome fun. But this was the latest one I delivered a couple of weeks ago, and Dwayne's been just absolutely smashing it. He's been doing some awesome cooks in it. Really nice guy, and he's also got, as I said, the Still Smoking Barbecue Supplies online. So he sells rubs and charcoal and stuff. And I actually picked up a bag of Charcoal King's charcoal from him when I was down there. I dropped off the drum and bought a bag, and it was good. But I think it's beautiful. Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say it's probably one of the prettiest drums. Like the color combination, it's actually it looks a bit blue in the photo, but it's an aqua color, and the orange just pops, and it looks absolutely fantastic in person. So everyone was commenting. Even the painter was like, "Man, this looks good. Can I keep it?" I'm like, no.
But if you like, I can make one for you.
That's exactly right. Yeah, I can do the same.
Yeah. So, what sort of customization has that gentleman picked for his smoker there?
Well, all the drums I make are pretty much the same sort of style. The customization comes with logos or teams or a theme that people want. So depending on what they want, I'll make it to suit them. So with Russ's one, I had his logo all laser cut individually and mounted on the front of the drum. Other guys, like this one, I've got a high temp sticker on a plate that is mounted on the drum. It just depends on the theme that they want. So Russ, he had timber handles instead of the spring handles and things like that. So just little things that will. And he also, I think he had an axe for a lid handle. So because of the wood theme that he has, he sells the barbecue wood. So I just want to try and keep the theme to match his business, and that's what I try and do. Like if somebody's like butcher shops will get a meat cleaver or something that's personal for that drum, and that's what I try and do.
Yeah, I actually interviewed Russ. I think it must have been like a day or two after you dropped that drum smoker off to him, and he actually set that up in the background of his interview, and he was so chuffed with it. He was so proud of it.
Yeah, well, it was wrapped up so tightly, and my son and I, there was a window. It was 2 years ago. There was a window where we could travel. So I was like, "We're going." I had a week set aside. So we're going. Boom, got through all the borders and got there and back in time. And it's the only white one I've done, and I'm surprised. Like it's still like looking as white and crisp as it did the day I delivered. So I'm really, really happy about that. Because it was the first one, so it meant something to me. Like they all mean something to me because I put a lot of effort into them and want to make sure that when they're going out that they're perfect. So. Well,
I was going to ask about that. Like being a white smoker, I can't imagine it's going to be clean for very long. Do you use a particularly special? Is it like oil resistant paint or grease resistant paint or?
It's a high temp paint. A lot of guys can paint them in 2-pack, and I've been, when I spoke to my painter about it, I said, look, I want to start doing different metallics and stuff like that. And he was an automotive painter, and he said, "Look, I don't know if it will hold up for the temperature because you get to 200 degrees plus." He said it might still look good, but you'll notice that whites will start to yellow and colours might start to change, and the longevity of the paint might not be as shiny. So he recommended going with the paint that we've got, and people just pick the colour they want, and we get it made in the high temp paint. So it's up to like 200 degrees Celsius. It's rated at, but it can go a bit past that because I've left the intakes open on my drum and it's gone way past that. But yeah, but I when I finish and it's cool, I just clean it down with the Maguire's Quick Detailer, and just brings the shine back up. And yeah, my one's now 2 and a bit years old, and it still is looking as awesome as the day it was painted. So and plus I got covers for them, so putting a cover on it, mine stays outside on the front porch, and just put a cover over it, and it's fine in the wind and rain and everything like that we've been having. So it's good, still looking good. But I think it's because of the paint, and I also use a high temp primer underneath it. So once they're sandblasted, I put a high temp primer underneath it. Some people say you don't need to, but for me, I just know that I've covered all bases, and that way then there shouldn't be any failures with the paint. Yeah, from my end anyway.
Yeah. Now I can't see any form lines in that drum there. So yours are made from tubing then, not from like a 44-gallon drum?
No, they are. It is a 44-gallon drum. I put the seam to the back, which is on the opposite side, obviously, and there is one seam down the back, and yeah, so I just use 44-gallon drum, a 205-litre drum.
Oh, okay. I was talking about the ridge around the middle.
Oh no, there's no ribs on these ones. So you can get the smooth sided ones. You can get the ones with the ribs on the side. It really makes no difference. I just think that the smooth sided ones make a nicer looking drum. But if people like my first couple of UDSs that I made for mates were all ribbed, and yeah, there's no functional difference, just more of a visual difference. But the ribbed ones still look just as good when they're all done up.
Yeah, that's interesting. What you were saying about the difference of temperatures and just how high the drum smoker can go. My friend of mine, when I was at uni, he had just a 44-gallon drum he was using in his backyard just as a heater, and he had this Alaskan Malamute dog, 65-kilogram dog, and unfortunately the dog passed away, and so it was. My friend's, he decided he was going to cremate the dog in the drum on the front yard, no. and sit around and drink a bottle of rum by himself. And of course, somebody called the fire brigade, and the fire brigade turned up, and he explained it all to them in tears, and they saw how upset he was, and they just sort of patted him on the shoulder, and they just sort of sat around and watched the drum and made sure nothing caught on fire, but let him continue his tradition of cremating this giant dog in the drum. So,
that's sad.
Bit of a grisly story, but drums can get really hot. So, can you sear a steak in a drum? Absolutely, you can.
Oh, absolutely. You absolutely could sear a steak in the drum. You could get them so hot they'd glow red, which it kind of defeats the purpose of blow and slow. But absolutely, you could. Absolutely.
We had a fireplace in our house growing up. It was called a hot drum, and it was a 44-gallon drum that had the front third of it cut off. It was laid on its side. It had 4 legs and a door cut into what would be the top, but was now the front because it was laying on its side, and a flue. And my dad used, because we had old ironbark trees around the farm, and we used to get that really dense, hard ironbark. And my dad would build such a fire in that, he'd turn off all the lights in the house, and you'd see this black drum glowing red in the corner.
Wow. Yeah, I think they sell kits now at Bunnings for these slow combustion kits for the drums. So, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you get crank some heat out of them.
Yeah. Now, talking about kits, you don't just do whole drums, you do parts for the DIY lovers out there as well, don't you?
I do, yeah. That's what started it all off. I started with the parts and was making drums for friends, and I really haven't advertised it that much, but I do make drums as well, but yeah, it started with parts. So everything from the caster mounts, intakes, exhaust, handles, the grills, deflectors, the charcoal basket. I make all that myself, and they're all my design. I'm really lucky that I've got a really good mate that is an architect, and I do all my drawings. I started on paper, then moved to cardboard and MDF and see if it all works. And then I say, here, can you make this into a computer diagram so I can send it to the laser cutter? And that's, I'm really blessed to be able to have, he's such a top mate. His name's Marco, and yeah, he's a really good bloke. So I'm really lucky to have him he's probably one of my best mates. So.
Yeah, and all your part designs and that, they're all unique, as you said. They're different to what everyone else has got out there.
Yeah, I try to make my parts unique. There's something like an intake is an intake is an intake, but I as I said, do mine as square, so it's not copying. My hinge, I have a bottle opener on the back. I mean, all the hinges work the same. It's a curve, but I've made it different, so it's got a bottle opener on the back. Handles are handles, but again, I didn't just get somebody's and copy it. I actually sat down and drew it and measured it up, and then sent it off to get laser cut. So, and the caster mounts, they're all mine. I've had, this is on the third edition of the caster mounts. I started off with one design that I didn't like, and then I went to a second design that was a bit more flowing like the hinge, but I didn't like that either. I found that it could be a little bit weak, and I sent caster mounts out to mates that were building drums and said, can you give it a test and see what you think? And then they'd come back and say, oh, look, this is no good, this is no good. So I end up getting it's 3mm one piece, and it's folded, and the folding is actually stronger than the weld, so you could stand on it now, and you're going to break the caster before you break the caster mount, or you'll dent the drum. So I'm pretty confident with that, the third edition now. So.
Oh, mate, that sounds great. So people would be able to just order a whole kit and just have the kit delivered, and then put a weekend aside and put it together.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I don't sell a kit as such on like, it's all through Facebook, but people have contacted me and said, look, I want a kit, and I go, sure, and I'll put it together for them and send it as one big kit. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can do that and build it yourself if that's what you want to do. Or even if I always say to all the new people on the page, look, if you want to do it yourself and you got your own bits, then send me a million questions. I'm happy to answer it, and you just build it yourself. There's no reason why you can't build it yourself, but if you want a really good one, I'll build it for you. So.
Oh, of course, yeah. But for the diehard junkies, is it hard to put one together?
Look, to be honest, if you can use a drill and you got a drum, then you got a smoker. Yeah, you can just drill holes in the bottom and use magnets. You don't need an intake. But that's how I started with my one. I just was looking at YouTube videos and bits and pieces and pieced it together and built my one. And from there, it's just got bigger and bigger. The first one I built was really good. I actually was going to meat stock. Meat stock had just started, so it was the second meat stock. I went there, and Mark Tyrrell was selling his Smart Fire at meat stock, and my mate Calvin, my mate Judd, he'd come back with this Butte, stoker from the States. I was like, oh, everyone's like, oh, look at this. This is like something from the future. And I was going to get one from the States, but it was like so expensive. But then my mate Marco and I were actually at meat stock, and Mark had set up a little stall inside, and we like picked his brain about what's this thing you got, this little red gadget. And he showed us. I went, yep, well, I'll have one of them. And Marco was like, yep, I'll have one of them. And so then I used the Smart Fire, and that's been brilliant. I don't use it now because the way I've got it set up, I don't need it. Really, the Smart Fire was just making up for my lack of knowledge and lack of ability, and it works really, really well. It's a great bit of equipment, and guys still use it, on their drums. I just don't use it anymore, but I've still got it. I'm not going to get rid of it because it is a good bit of gear. But yeah, just that's it. Just learn from my mistakes and slowly got there. So anybody can really build a drum smoker. It's not some secret art.
Yeah, but like you said, if you wanna keep it easy, just order the whole one from you.
Well, yeah, the easiest thing is, yeah, just order one from me. You get one in 8 to 10 weeks because,
Yeah, cool.
yeah, I put that time frame. It's usually quicker than that, but I put that time frame in because being, I'm the only one here that does it. I don't have a staff or anything. It's just me, myself, and I. And then dealing with the painter and the blaster and other people. Being a little guy, you get bumped back down the line when big businesses come in and say, "Oh, I need this done and that done."
Well, that was something else I was going to ask. With all the madness of the last 2 years, there's been a whole lot of supply issues, and I know that you like to work a lot with local businesses. So have you had some difficulties there that you've had to overcome?
Yeah, well, I do try and stay local, and I do try and promote other small businesses that are, like rub businesses and Russ with his wood. Not that he needs promoting; he's huge, so he's doing great. But I do try and stay local and do try and promote local Aussie businesses. So yeah, trying to get in, again, like with the painters and the laser cutters and stuff like that. There's a backlog. Even the sandblaster. I used to be able to just drop the drums off on a Friday and pick them up on a Monday, but he's got stuff that's backlogged and he's doing big jobs as well. So I just kind of like, I know I'm a little guy. I just pick it up when I can, and I'll pester you every couple of days and say what's going on. So yeah, it does slow it down a bit, which look, it can be frustrating. It's frustrating for me at times, but I get more frustrated because I know that there's people wanting it and waiting for them, and I just not delivering them as quick as I want to deliver them. So yeah, that's the hardest thing. And also, sorry,
go ahead.
I was going to say also, like, you get things back from the painter and there's a run, and I'm like, I can't send that out. I'm not going to send out something that I wouldn't be happy with. So it's got to go back and sand it, and then it's like me going, hey, what's this all about? Fix this up. So yeah, that takes time, unfortunately. But as Dwayne was saying, he was super patient with me. He goes, "Oh, perfection takes time," and I'm like, "I'm so grateful you're so patient with me. Thank you."
Yeah, it's all about sort of working together and pulling together when you can. And I love that you're so passionate about supporting fellow local businesses, man. That's great stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I think it's important, and I think going back to Russ, and when I went down and met up with Russ, that was the first time I met him. Like, we spoke obviously a lot over the internet, and him and his wife helped me a lot with, like Sarah helped me with stuff with websites and stuff, which I haven't started a website yet, but they were great. So when I went down there, I actually met up with Tom from Smoky Pastures. He came around with his kids, and I had my son down there, so all the kids were playing together, and they're just such a community, like a real barbecue community down there in South Australia, which I think New South Wales could learn a lot. Well, it might already be happening here, but I'm not that involved with it. Just a few guys around the joint. But I really see there's a huge community. So I try and do my bit to try and improve that, because I know how hard it is for me. So when there's other guys having a crack, I think, well, I just want to jump on and support you whichever way I can, whether it's just like pumping their posts or sharing their posts or buying their stuff. I just want to try and help them, because even if, like, I don't do it to get anything out of it, I get satisfaction seeing other, like, mates doing really well, and that's something I'm really passionate about, is just trying to help people be the best they can be. And so I get a big kick out of pumping other guys up, and people that are really having a good crack. I get a lot out of that.
That's beautiful, man. That's very well said. Listen, we're going to just take a short break and we'll be back in just a moment. Alrighty, folks, the cold weather is coming, but that doesn't mean you have to be cold on those long, dark nights out by the fire. We've got our winter merch now in stock. We've got our beanies, we've got our hoodies. Of course, we've still got our tumblers that are going to keep your hot drinks hot on those horrible cold nights. And if you're from far north Queensland, like Dean Monk, who's putting about 1 million comments on this video here today, and it's getting to that time of year where you got to trade in the singlet for a cold weather t-shirt, we got some of them for you as well. So head on over to smokinghotconfessions.com/shop. There's a couple of ebooks in there you can check out as well. There's that free one available as well. You can pop your details in when that window appears and we'll send that out to you. But yeah, check it out. Each of those little sales helps us out a little bit, helps us keep the lights on, helps us bring the show to you, and that's what we love to do. So head on over there, check it out, smokinghotconfessions.com/shop.
You're listening to the internationally awarded Smoking Hot Confessions podcast with massive barbecue nerd Ben Arnott.
Alrighty, Adam, this is the third part of the show. This is where our guest imparts some wisdom, imparts some knowledge, teaches a lesson for our listeners and our viewers. So I'm going to throw it over to you. I've got my my little notepad and my pen here. I'm going to pencil down a few questions, and it's all on you, mate.
Probably the advice, I guess, or I don't know, advice, but knowledge I'd pass on is that if you do want a drum smoker and you don't want to be spending a lot of money, that it is something that is accessible for everybody. As I said before, if you've got a drill and a drum, you've pretty much got a smoker. It doesn't have to be a daunting task. It's something that you can do in a couple of weekends, like if you've got kids, or, do it as a family thing, get your kids involved. It's a really simple project that, at the end of the day, you get to cook great food and something that you can be proud of with your kids. It doesn't have to look good, just as long as it's functioning. And all you need is a drill and a drum. So if anybody wants any ideas on how to do that, then they can message me through Facebook or Instagram, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions. And as I always say, when I'm welcoming new guests on the Facebook page, there's no such thing as a dumb question, but there's plenty of dumb answers. So hopefully I won't give you any dumb answers. But it's a fairly straightforward process to do, and it doesn't have to be something that you need to spend thousands of dollars on.
Yeah, right. Okay, so is there a particular drum type that people should be looking for when they're looking to pick up a drum?
If they go to like a mechanics or a tire shop, anything that's had like motor oil in it is probably the best, because they usually aren't lined. They're usually raw inside, but it doesn't have to be a food grade. I obviously wouldn't get something that's like toxic, like nuclear material. But I've also when I was building before, a mate of mine is in drag racing, so he was getting ethanol drums from him, and obviously, when you're using anything that's had like something that's combustible, you've got to make sure you fill it up with water, soapy water, before you start cutting on it. Otherwise, it can explode. But if people just go to their local tire shop or mechanic, they usually got drums that they want to get rid of. Or even if you've got like a resource center attached to your local tip, they've usually got drums down there too. It only costs you a couple of bucks, if not for free. Just make sure. It hasn't had anything that's nasty inside it. And even if it's got a sealed lid, like a closed drum, that's not a problem as well, because you can just grind around the outside, and I can help you with that, tell you what to do, and you can take that lid off then, and you've got a removable lid. So if you can't find an open top drum, a closed top drum's fine.
Yeah, I've noticed that yours have the flat lid on the top. So you is that what you do with yours? Keep the lid on, put a hinge on?
No, my ones are open top drums. And you can look in New South Wales. I know you can buy brand new, or not brand new. They're recycled drums from a place in Seven Hills. So you can buy recycled drums that are open top. But the open top ones usually have that clamp that goes around the side with the screw or a bolt, that clamps the lid down, or they've got like a little lever on the side. So they're ideal if you get one with a removable lid. But if you can't get that, and all you have is a closed drum, then we can make that work too.
Okay, and so then do you frisbee that lid, or do you and build a new lid, or do you use that as the?
No, I use that lid. I use the lid that comes with the drum, because it's the lid that came with it, so it fits perfectly, and I don't have to do any alterations to it apart from putting the exhaust and hinge and handles and things like that on top.
Yeah, right. Cool. So what sort of preparation needs to go into the drum before they can start building it?
Well, if they're doing it at home and they don't want to sandblast it, they can also use paint stripper on the outside, or they can, once they've drilled all the holes, just set a fire inside it and just let it burn for a couple of hours. And what they'll see is the paint on the outside will blister and go chalk-like, and that will burn the liner out on the inside and the paint on the outside. Once the fire goes out, then you can use a wire brush or a wire wheel on a grinder, or a flat disc, or a quick strip disc that goes on the grinder, and just grind it all back to bare metal. Obviously wearing eyes and ears, and there's plenty of masks around, so wear a mask so you don't breathe any of that rubbish in. And once you do that, then you can, prime the outside and paint the outside, and then get the cheapest spray oil you can and give it a quick spray inside so it doesn't rust out. And you're pretty much good to go once you build your charcoal basket and put a Weber rack in there. So a lot of the times you might be able to get a lot of the parts off a street cleanup. They have those council cleanups, or people are always chucking out Webers. So when you see them, grab the grills and grab the lid if you want, and away you go.
Yeah, it's almost too easy sometimes, isn't it? It's such a great type of smoker.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just think that some people think, oh, I can't do that, but really, it's very easy. And as I said, if you want to know, just hit me up. I'm more than happy to chat with you and get you going if that's the way you want to go.
Yeah, and of course, once again, if you want it all looking pretty with all the nice paint and all that sort of stuff, buy the whole thing complete direct from you.
Yeah, I've had some really good help along the way too with my parts, especially my charcoal basket. I'm not sure, but a lot of guys know Larry Beer Can Fisher. He makes the BCF, which is a charcoal basket. And when I was designing mine, everyone's got round ones, so I went with square, of course, which is putting a squared basket in a round drum makes for a few problems, but it works really well. But Larry, and I talked to him a fair bit, and he gave me some pointers on how he did his charcoal baskets. And pretty much anybody that has a charcoal basket is pretty much, whether it's square or round, that has a contained ash in the bottom, is pretty much a copy of what Larry designed. And that's what my charcoal basket is. It's catches the ash at the bottom, so the ash doesn't go in your drum, and you can just pull it out and tip it in the bin, and it's good to go. Whereas others might, when you take them out, they could spill out the sides and stuff like that. So you also would get that if you buy my drum, or you can just buy the charcoal basket itself if you want. Save yourself the trouble.
So good, mate. So good. We did have a couple of quick questions come through here that I'm just going to put to you before we wrap up.
Right.
We have. It says hot and fast info. Do you leave water basket or take out?
I don't have a water basket in. Some guys do smoke with a water pan above the charcoal, but I find in the drum I don't need it. There's plenty of moisture inside the drum, and also I regularly spritz any pork or beef that I'm cooking. Even lamb, I'll give it a bit of a spritz, just to put that moisture back on. But I don't have a water basket or a water pan in my smoker. But people can put them in there. You can put it on top of the diffuser if you want. That's not a problem.
Okay, cool. Next one. Please, a good, easy recipe for Aussie salmon. This Aussie salmon's been really popular tonight.
I'll share the when this goes on. I'll share the recipe in the comments. The one that I use, yeah.
Awesome. And I think this one's the last one. Is there a website we can check prices?
I don't have a website at the moment, but all the prices are on. I've got the social page, which everyone's on, but there's also a business page under the same name that has all the prices in the shop. But feel free just to send me a message if you can't find it. It's on there, but if you can't find it for some reason, just shoot me a message. It can be in the Instagram or Facebook. I mean, I'm even on TikTok, so you can send it to TikTok, or you can just send it to my private message. It's not a problem. And I can send a list to you, or answer any questions you've got. But it's all on the Facebook business page.
Awesome. Well, that wraps up the socials. Let's have you give some shout outs and thanks and praise to people who've helped you out along the way.
I've got a bit of a small list, but right at the start when I started doing it, and one of the first competitions I ran on my page, this guy called David from a little company I didn't know called Treat Your Meat, he jumped on and said, "G'day," and introduced himself and said, "Oh, can I give you some rubs to chuck in your comp?" And I was like, "Sweet, that's awesome." This was all exciting and new for me. Like these people, they're doing rubs and and stuff like that. Contacting me, I was like, "Whoa, this is awesome!" And I said, "Sure." And so David's been a mate for a while now as well, and so I wanted to give him a shout out. And there was also a group of us that used to chat. So there was David and Wayne. Wayne, he's bought a lot of parts from me. He's a really good mate. He's just probably, I think he's about an hour and a half, hour and 45 away from me, north. So there was myself, David, there was Wayne. Mark McDonald from M&C Smoking Rubs. Yeah, so he was in the chat group, and Frank from Franco Barbecues on Instagram as well. So we used to be in a big chat group, and so these were guys that we used to knock around with and chat with, and toss our ideas around. Mark's bought parts off me, and I actually met up with him on the way to see Russ at South Australia. He bought a lot of parts from me, and I got his rubs into a butcher down near me that I actually built a drum for at VNC at South Nowra. There's a butcher in there called Long Paddock, and my mate Shane works there, and Shane's you might know him as the South Coast rub guy. So he stocked some of Mark's pastrami rub, which is probably one of the best pastrami rubs around. So yeah, those guys, from the start, we had a little Facebook chat group that we used to knock about with. So yeah, just wanted to say thanks to them, because they gave some good feedback with stuff and helped. Obviously, I spoke about Russ and Tom from Smoky Pastures, Aaron from Low and Slow. When I first kicked off, I used to chat to Aaron a bit as well about stuff, and he's seen how well he's doing. He's just smashing it. So yeah, just want to acknowledge him. Another big legend, Chris from the Smoker Baker. Chris has been from the start just been a top bloke. He's a real good mate. I'm actually really looking forward to catching up with him at the Sydney Meat Stock. I met Jim from Olive Pip along the way, and yeah, Jim's a really nice bloke. We were talking about building smokers and stuff like that. He had some specific ideas that we were looking at doing, and there are some really good ideas actually. Really nice guy. There's just so many nice guys and girls in this barbecue scene. So getting into it has been great for me, because just opened my eyes up to a whole new world and all these great people I've been meeting along the way. I've probably forgotten people, but I'm not sure. Yeah, it's just there's so many great guys that have just helped me along this journey, and I'd thank them all if I could remember them all. But yeah, they're the main ones I could think of. But I'm sure I've forgotten some other awesome people. Like Dean, I know Dean's been smashing the comments. Like Dean and I have been chatting a fair bit too, and him and his daughter Chloe, and yeah, it just makes me so happy to see father and daughter doing stuff together like that, like I do with my girls and my son. So just yeah,
it's good to see, isn't it? Really good to see.
Yeah, it's just too many nice people out there. We could spend all night just saying names of people that are just absolute legends and just brilliant at what they do and what they bring to barbecue. So yeah, look, these guys I'm honoured to know and call them mates and stuff. So it's a real privilege and honour for me.
Yeah, no doubt about that at all. Look, that's a good time for us to start to wrap this up. So I'm going to say thanks very much for your time, and please enjoy the rest of your Easter weekend.
Yeah, thank you, Ben. We really appreciate you having me on, and yeah, it's a real privilege and honour for me to be on your show. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. I'll see you again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Alrighty, folks, there you have it. That was Adam Yorke from Ugly Drum Smokers Australia. And he's right. They're not ugly anymore. We need to change that name. We need to start a new hashtag. What did we come up with? Was it Beautiful Drum Smoker Machines or Beautiful Drum Smoker Mates? Something like that. We need an M on the end. We need to make that happen. Change that name. Start a new hashtag. I want to see TikTok videos. I want to see Twitter posts. I want to see all of it. Let's have a new name for those drums. Anyway, check him out. He's got his Facebook page there, Ugly Drum Smokers Australia. His shop is actually in his Facebook page. You can go there, check out all his products. He's got them all up. They're great looking stuff. You've seen them as I've been running around different barbecue competitions and interviewing different people. You've seen them, as I said, in the background of the interview we did a little while ago with Russ Cole from Natural Smoke. So check that out. Really good stuff. And we just want to say thanks very much for having Adam on tonight. As I said, this weekend is very important to him, and I really appreciate him taking that time out to hang out and talk barbecue. So until next time, take care of each other and keep on queuing.
Thanks for listening to the Smoking Hot Confessions podcast. Head on over to smokinghotconfessions.com for recipes, tips, and Ben's own confessions.